All right, good morning, Coin Observatory. Thank you for tuning into another live stream. It's going to be our traditional power hour. I'm going to cover Bitcoin, I'm going to cover altcoins, we're going to cover the altcoin market cap, as well as some of the indices in the traditional markets. BTC is looking pretty bullish. Altcoin market cap is looking like it's closed at inverse head and shoulders as well. Some things are a little worrisome on the altcoin cap, but the formation, right, the chart formation is looking strong, and I'll go over that shortly. You guys let me know how audio is and how video is in the comments, and we will dive right in. Starting off with BTC, we did see this violent move up over the weekend. It is currently looking like it's setting up in a bull flag. Go ahead and add RSI here to check for divergences. Don't believe we have any. So this, yeah, we don't quite have much of a divergence. There's a little bit of a one on the 4 hour from this previous high, but that one has corrected via MDRP, I believe, with the mid-range bounces. The chart formation is looking like an inverse head and shoulders. I wrote about this on Medium a couple of weeks ago. There's a link to our Medium in the video description. Identifying the neckline for this inverse head and shoulders has been a little tricky just because of the volatility. On Medium, I had a range that was in the 4,000 to 4,100. It's looking like, because of time and the trend, that range for the neckline has come down quite a while, but we are within that neckline zone. If you get another bounce off that 38.83, that's going to be a great area for me to add personally, right? And this isn't financial advice. This is my view on the markets. This is how we're trading it. Thoughts about the volume decreasing, right? So volume has been decreasing. Last time we saw head and shoulders was in June. And let's check on volume there, because we did have a nice strong rally. And once it closed, we saw that violent move up, right? We're not quite seeing that. We're also seeing quite a bit less volume on the chart. So can this be a bull trap? Let me go to the daily. Volume has been unsettling, right? It's not quite the volume we want to see. Thoughts about it? We want to see what happens at that neckline, right? A bounce off the 3,800 would put us in bullish territory for a confirmation. Ideally, the retest of the neckline is what we want to wait for. Last time we didn't quite get one on the daily chart. Currently, I'm still long, right? I'm still long. And I'm going to talk about why in just a moment. If you go over to the Ether USD chart, I'm just going to go off Coinbase and the daily. This moving average right here is the 200-day moving average on Ether, I believe. Nope, it is the 100-day moving average on Ether USD. So Ether rallied all the way up to the 100-day moving average on the daily chart. In this market cycle, BTC has not done so just yet, right? So if you were to kind of compare where price is headed, where price was, in terms of market cycles, our 100-day moving average on BTC is right at that 5K mark. So the decreasing volume, it's a little worrisome, but there's still room for that to correct. I'd rather trade the break of the neckline up and down, even though we did signal several long opportunities down here on some descending broadening wedges for future positions, and I'm currently still carrying that over. Are we expecting an ETH pullback? I think ETH is in a pullback mode already. So I'm going to go to ETH USD on Coinbase. The intraday charts have pulled back. Let me get an add an RSI. RSI is still looking good. It's not divergent. I see one sell signal over here, but it's not a strong one, right? Last sell signal was a buy, and we did however say to our VIPs when ETH was still at $130 that go in 20% Ether as a portfolio diversification strategy was going to be a smart move. We're currently at 153, so we're still up that 20% plus on 20% of the portfolio. One thing that was interesting about Ether is intraday it broke previous resistances and it rallied up, right? Are we gonna see a pullback? That's our last high. We're seeing divergent highs, so we're essentially in pullback mode on Ether. I did signal an altcoin just now on the Ether chart, so some of that Ether value that went up, diversifying that into some alts that are going to rally on ETH is what I'm doing, taking advantage of market cycles once again. The altcoin market cap, this one's looking fairly interesting. So on the daily chart, it's looking like it's closed at inverse head and shoulders as well. Currently trading above our neckline, right at that neckline. Volume has been increasing here, right? I mean, it's still going up. It's not quite as much as it was during this rally. But in terms of chart formation, if this is a pennant, which it hasn't proven to be a pennant just yet, we're going to go ahead and add a target. We're actually just going to go off that previous target, which was neckline to the head. So we're still expecting a rally from alts, a 30% rally from the inverse head and shoulders, and that's also going to give us a falling wedge target once the falling wedge breaks of 40%, I believe, based on my last analysis. Let's go back to the daily. That was a big wedge. Still haven't broken it, right? So this rally should put us on top of this wedge, which should give us another upwards target. These are typically 5 touches, so you got a 1, 2, 3. We want to see what happens at that resistance zone. We want to see this rally come in from the inverse head and shoulders, and seeing several inverse head and shoulders kind of lets us know that the market is going through a shift, right? A shift in momentum, because we see that on ICX, we see that on a couple of altcoins, we see it on the altcoin market cap. We saw Ether break out and essentially almost make it 100% in value, from $80 up to $160, and now somewhat pulling back a little. Neo. What's going on, Troy? Troy is live on Facebook, tuning in. We had an early trade on Neo. Definitely had an early trade set up on Neo and our altcoin signals. I wouldn't call this trapped, right? It's currently retesting previous resistance, right? And if this turns into support, then we should be good to go. This second high was a little divergent. Our signal was still when Neo was trading back here. It was early in last week before the weekend. And so we've seen a divergent high, right? So that's going to be expected. I'm going to turn up my RSI brightness. Sorry about that. As a divergent. Yeah, definitely a bit of a divergence. So we're going to see a little bit of a pullback. It should retest this previous resistance for another upwards move. Moving averages on NEO just broke out to the upside, though we do see tweezer tops at the top. So I mean, it's looking like a range trade, right? It's looking like a range trade currently. But with moving averages to the upside, with the DMI at 28, the RSI currently coiling up and above 51, right? It's way above 51. Momentum is to the upside. It is. Now, NEO has a history of being the fake out king. That's what I've called it over the years. It definitely bounced off the last support area on the BTC chart, actually a little lower, and it's beyond that pivot point. So I'd give NEO a little bit of room in terms of time. All right, I had a couple altcoin requests off Facebook. We're going to cover those. You had one for TRX. And let's go over TRX on Binance, TRX BTC. All right, so TRX, we had a signal on margin for Tron very early on. Go ahead and pull that up. We didn't quite close that signal. We decided to hedge against it. This is Camby's trade setup. I rarely do this, is show off our channel on the live stream. We've been running a trailing stop on Tron for quite some time. It blew past all our targets. Anyways, going back to the chart, what am I seeing now? It's momentum is to the upside on Tron, right? There's a bull flag here. It's breaking up again. Let's look at Fib targets from the initial move. It's going to be our initial breakout down to that. So it's past the 4.36, right? We're looking at a strong, powerful move. This would be the final target. It's past it. So the next move up, putting up fib levels for the breakout. Gee, let's go ahead and fib the downtrend. Should give us the next target, as well as possible support for entries if someone's price chasing. All right, so our next two targets on Tron are going to be the 633 Satoshi mark and the 717 Satoshi mark, right? And then 830. So these are going to be the next targets on Tron. The stop, the short positions that were hedged should be stopped out if you guys are following Cam. I'm not sure what he moved the stop last to, but we've seen a nice move up. Last time we updated this trade to the upside, the hedge was 70% up, and it was open for over 900% on initial entry. So that's been a pretty good solid trade. And if you guys that are subscribers, when I talk about my moving average strategies crossing over, we tend to see these rallies, right? And we're seeing quite a bit of momentum on Tron. The ADX seem to have recharged, right? So 45, we're going to see trend continuation. Stochastics pointed up, not through the roof. We still have room to coil. We still have room to go overbought again on the daily. What's going on, Chris? All right, RDD, red coin. Why do people trade these? There's currently 16 Bitcoin of volume, right? I haven't signaled this, I don't think. I'm seeing an attempted MA break, but the volume's dead. DI negative is above DI positive. RS stochastics headed down. RSI is below 40 or below 50 towards that 41 range. Is there a formation that we can trade? If we were to ignore that last breakout, all right, we could ignore that last breakout. We can, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm going to go over these two. So it's past that resistance. There's not any volume coming into this chart on OBV. I don't see an impulse move coming, but I mean I don't see an impulse move coming. All right, going over Walton Chain and Lumens. WTC, right? You guys see my moving averages. We know where they're headed, moving to the upside. It's quite a bit of price suppression here, right? The red sell-off volume coming in. I'm going to make these brighter too on my DMI so you guys can see it. Okay, let's not do that. We're going to do this. So ADX at 32, 33. So trend is to the upside. It's gaining momentum. RSI bouncing off 51. Let's go intraday. Looks like there's a rise or an ascending triangle formation, some type of pennant breaking out. There is absolutely somewhat of a pennant, and don't like the angle of it. It's not very aggressive. And we saw a couple of these fail, right? We saw a couple of these go up and just not cause a sustainable rally just yet. So we're going to see a little bit of a retracement down to this trend line, right, which is going to be our support. And it should act as support. If not, we're going to see retracement down a little further. And so long as these two lines don't break, momentum should remain to the upside. Volume's looking promising. There's 563 BTC being traded here. And that's been ideally pre-breakout volume on Binance. So once tokens start getting up in that range, we're seeing these upwards moves up. There's also a bit of a neckline and several heads or several shoulders on this. So I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of the formation. Price is below it. At oscillators, moving averages, everything else is showing a buy signal. Back to the daily, look at historicals. I mean, we're right in that listing range, right? And OBV, maybe isn't looking the best. Stochastic RSI though has had a bullish div. So we're just trying to find a trade setup. Let me get rid of DMI. Just stick to stochastic. And we're seeing a failure swing on the stochastic RSI. I'm going to go over that. I mean, to me, the stochastic looks bullish. It looks like it's gonna want to make another upwards run. We're seeing a higher low on the chart, right? Much higher low, and a lower low on stochastic, right? So that should be an up signal. Going over lumens. I believe lumens is up 6%. Come on, Lumen. All right, this is nice, right? We've seen an impulse move on Lumens, and I wish Lido was on. Maybe you can give us a Elliott wave analysis, right? Because I mean, this seems like to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not the big Elliott wave trader. It seems to be like an end of a correction, an ABC actually. There's an A, B, and a C, so it should be an impulse move up. And once again, stochastic is high. Do you have a lower low? We don't quite have a lower low here on the daily. The last time I updated this, I said Lumens was at support, right? Or should be at support, and somewhat setting up in a range. So it's still within buy range. It's actually wanting to move up with high volume, 1600 B vol, which is pretty good. And it's just your support. This is going to be our resistance for a range trader. Range is 5 touches. We have way more than 5 touches here. So it's looking like a range setup. Volume wants to increase, right? We're seeing a breakout on lower volume than yesterday. So this has room to go up. My intermediate term moving averages haven't crossed. So once this purple crosses above yellow, we could see the big setup, right? The big swing come in. That's what happens when these break out to the upside, right? So as of now, Lumens is looking like it's got momentum so long as the MA's cross. We don't have a cross yet. All right, going over ICX, I'm going to cover Nano. There we go, ending diagonal, now lower low since. No lower low. So what do you think, Willie? Willie's been really touching up on his Elliott wave with Lido. Show off some skill. Hey, drop a chart on Discord, tag me in it, and I'll put it up. All right, ICX, right? Signal this one for an inverse head and shoulders. I spoke about this one for inverse head and shoulders. Whoa. You like that analysis, Troy? BTC dropping Bartman in 53 minutes. All right, so ICX is trading above the neckline, which is something we spoke about. Our upwards target are still valid. Moving averages look good. Stochastic's a little high, but we want it to coil. Let's go on the intraday, see what's going on. You saw this bull flag set up. It's breaking out. Currently retesting previous resistance, right? So it's still looking good. We want to see a retest of the neckline. This is what we're likely going to get. And then for an upwards break. This one still has that first target of the inverse head and shoulders. So we've got a bit of a 15% upwards move from our neckline. Nano. Guys, thank you all for all the alts. It's pretty awesome. I like it when power hours are like this. All right, Nano BTC. Let's do a fib. This looks like a retracement, right? So you got a swing low. We have our swing high. I don't like Nano right now. Right, I like entering positions above a 61.8 retracement. We could see a big move up. We could see a market maker kind of wanting to shake everyone out, running some stops. But as of now, I'm not a fan until we break that 29,214. Let's go to the daily chart. Moving averages are to the downside. Right, we I showed you guys several setups of moving averages breaking. This one didn't quite break, right? Our yellow one is still below the blue. So my midterm and my midterm is below my longer term. Let me put it on an ETH chart, see if we got a signal there. Nope. And this is why I had, I mentioned, hey guys, we should definitely be sitting in ETH, because if you wanted to pick up any alts with ETH right now, we're getting them at a discount. So we're getting a lot more alts with our previously 20% ETH. right, now you guys have more altcoins for me, or let me check on what Troy wants me to cover. It just looks cold up in your moving averages, Troy. I'm gonna drop this chart. All right, well, you guys got any more altcoin suggestions for me? Anything else you want me to cover? You got plenty of time left in the stream. All right, Ether Classic and Ethos. So Ether Classic did this a little bit of a pennant on the BTC chart, and then it decided to break down, right? It's not quite a symmetrical triangle. It was actually more of a descending triangle. It's just following that momentum, right? You see that the angle down here isn't looking the best, and now we're seeing a downward retracement. Well, what do you know about retracement buys? We're going to look at the 61.8 or the 50%, right? But once again, moving averages broke out to the upside. And that's why I like trading alts with these MAs, especially when it comes to market cycles after an Ether rally. So ideally, we could see a pullback back down to the 50% retracement, which coincides with my long-term moving average, or we can even see one down to the 61.8. And at that point, Ether Classic is going to look like an interesting trade for an entry. We know that a 23.6 retracement and 38.2% retracement are just not sufficient pullbacks. If you guys have seen our Fibonacci retracement and extension videos, I'm just going to set some alerts for Ether Classic for now. Let me see how it's done historically. Historically, it likes to do these big moves up and down, but this time around, Ether Classic has exposure on Coinbase. It looks like a cheaper alt to buy. But the problem is, right, if you were to get another crypto rush like it did last year, there's a lot more options on Coinbase. So people might be chasing that cheaper coin. Thank you, Willie, for that tag. I will check on it shortly. Now, Ether Classic USDT is still looking strong, except for there's not much volume. It's been ranging. It's definitely a range trade. It hasn't touched support yet. Let me go to 240. All right, so we do have our 1, 2, 3, 4. We're definitely in a range. It's a volatile range. Price could pull back a little lower in terms of USD. If we were to see that pullback that I was talking about for a 50 or 61.8 retracement, we're just going to take this last swing low, take it to our last swing high, and this is our 28.30. So we want to see a $4.47 Ether Classic, a $4.20 Ether Classic before a move up. That's a possibility. There's also an inverse head and shoulder possibility, and this might be a neckline on the USD chart. We're seeing a lot of these, so I'm going to highlight that. I'm just going to draw the pattern, make sure it's valid. So I like analyzing tokens on different time frames, different pairs, just to see what's happening, right? So if this neckline breaks, right, which we're looking like we're right at that neckline, and this 4.67 breaks, you might go back down to that right shoulder at the 4.44. Ethos. I'm not sure what exchange you're trading Ethos on. Currently there's 0 volume on Livecoin. Ethos Korean won. There's quite a bit of volume here. It's an ascending triangle or a bull flag with a breakout, still moving up. I don't want to make I don't know. Don't like this. No comment on Ethos, I'm sorry. RVN. RVN was setting up on an impulse move today. What I don't like is the DMI, right? It's not showing me a strong ADX level, but it's showing me a trough, right? A trough is when the DMI or ADX on our DMI goes flat or it bottoms out. And we know that trends turn at peaks and troughs of DMI. That's what this is identifying. So here we're seeing a turn, we're seeing an attempted break of moving averages. If someone's a fundamental fan of RVN, which I am, I would go in at a swing low stop. Chart formations, we're kind of seeing this rounding bottom, right? We could be seeing a wedge break. We're totally seeing a wedge break. All right, this looks bullish. This definitely looks bullish. This wedge squeezed all the way. So our upwards target on this wedge for RVN, I should have signaled it when looking at it, 32% up. It looks like it's already headed that way. And if it does head that way for a 32% up, we're going to see my MA cross. And if you see my MA cross, it's going to be another catalyst. And if price can stay above that 395, we could see a big impulse move up. The reason I didn't signal this, I wasn't quite eyeing this wedge, I wasn't eyeing the wedge. Aggie. Seeing tweezer tops on Aggie, decreasing volume. Seeing a bearish divergence on RSI, but we do have plenty of support underneath, right? Plenty of support. There's this pennant break. This was rejected. So we want to see what happens with this order block. We want Aggie to find support. Retests are healthy, right? Retests are generally healthy. We like seeing breakouts. We like seeing FOMO. We're not quite there yet in terms of what the market is doing. So there is this range down here that we haven't retested. You can change that to a green. All right, so we do have a range that has not been retested. We want to see the chart retest here for further continuation or for a breakdown. All right, so KBC, BTC, there's a bearish divergence here. And we're about to get a sell signal if we get an MA crossover to the downside. All right, if these MAs cross to the downside, we should see a big pullback. We saw this happen back here, where price dropped from 275 down to 134. So if we do get that MA cross, you should expect a pullback back down. This is looking like it's at profit-taking levels, definitely at profit-taking levels. We also have more RSI bearish divergence on this previous high. All right, we're seeing 3 lower highs, I believe, and the trend is coming down. Usually when we get to that 24-25, we see trend acceleration, so I expect the pullback. So ETHUSD has somewhat slowed down, right? It wasn't a rally, it has slowed down. Covering ETH H19, so the ETH BTC chart. It's going to be tricky because BTC might start this rally. ETHUSD seems to be finding support at 150, 152. It retested down here. It retested this previous order block. Right, and it's finding support above currently. Moving averages to the upside. We could see another impulse move up out of ETH for a wave. So this would be our wave 1 because we're higher than the previous high. So this is the pullback for, so 1, 2, wave 3 should be incoming. When wave 3 comes in, we should see ETH gain on BTC one more time. Before getting stopped out, but a stop at entry would be wise just in case BTC rallies a little harder. I just covered KBC BTC. You guys on Facebook, I'm not getting much requests from you. Yeah, this thing looks just like what I just said. Oh, we got Scion, we've got Litecoin. Let's go over Scion. Sun has no momentum currently, right? We haven't signaled this one in a while. Moving averages are to the downside. We're not seeing it rallying just like other tokens. There's not quite that momentum in the chart, right? I'm not seeing a failure swing. We did see a failure swing back here. I would wait till there's an MA cross, till there's an impulse move, till it shows some kind of strength. DMI is at 18 on the daily. I'm not seeing it setting up for a run just yet, not on the daily chart. Going into the intraday, so checking the 4 hour. Quite a bit of constriction. This one can go either way. We do know fundamentally quite a big shift happened with the ASIC resistance and dumping Bitmain a couple of months ago when Sun was in a rally, and that kind of killed the rally. Chart formations, I don't see it. Cup and handles are usually not at the bottom of the chart. They don't count if they are. I wouldn't call this a 3-island reversal either, right? We want to see it break that previous resistance zone before an upwards move. All right, going over Litecoin, Ripple. Oh, we do have some awesome. All right, LTC. I'm gonna go over LTC USD and then LTC BTC. So LTC. All right, so Litecoin is in a rally. Next target for LTC, just going off this last bull flag here, that last impulse move. Looks like it already cracked it, right? And it needs to find support above. So the target for Litecoin was $38. This thing was like $200-300 back in the day. Next target's gonna be 41, 40. Let's call it 41, be conservative. These are the upwards target. This is another bull flag sign up, currently breaking to the downside, right? Support levels, we want to see it gain support down in that 35 range. If it doesn't, then Litecoin's going to be in trouble. One thing that's also present on Litecoin, just like I highlighted beginning of this power hour, we got several head and shoulders formations that are displayed on the charts. You got one on the altcoin market cap, we've got one on ICX, we've got one on BTC. So a retest of this neckline will put Litecoin at 35 for another buy and upwards move to 47. Momentum, I believe, is to the upside. I'm gonna check RSI back on the 4 hour one more time. Once again, moving averages broke out. That's why I don't like coins like Scion. We saw this coiling happen here for the upwards impulse move. So Litecoin is a hodl at the moment. RSI is up and higher at 65, not overbought. DMI on the daily is at 29. That is strong. Bearish divergences. This was our last high. This is nope. Litecoin looks free and clear for a rally. I wouldn't trade Litecoin BTC on leverage. I would trade Litecoin USD on spot, or maybe like a Kraken type of leverage. All right, I missed Ripple, and then I'm gonna go over Pivot, Strat, and Power. Going over XRP. Everyone on YouTube, thank you for the alts. All right, last time I updated Ripple, I said a pullback was incoming. A pullback is in the books. It's happening. We do see moving averages cross over here. Let me add some RSI. We did see a bearish divergence play out. We did see moving averages converge down. A DMI, there's no trend, right? We're going sideways. Currently, stochastics oversold. There is a signal. All right, signal, our K is above our D line. I wouldn't just trade off a stochastic signal, right? We know that Ripple for a while was running with inverse correlation to BTC, so it was it was a hedge, right? And now BTC is rallying. Should we expect the hedge to keep rallying alongside? I don't think so. Let me go over Ripple USD, see if that confirms my BTC findings. And it doesn't. All right, so Ripple USD is looking like a bullish pennant ready to break out. So dedicating a USD, USDT type of bag to this trade would be wise, right? We're seeing this pennant. It's a symmetrical triangle. We did already see the 50% retracement of this move. 61.8 retracement of this move. Volume is dying off. It's slowing down its momentum. Ripple at 36. What's the upwards target here? If we're just going to take that flag for a swing high without the bull trap, can we expect XRP to rally on the USD chart? Well, we're seeing a pennant. We're seeing moving averages want to move up. I might not keep up with BTC or ETH, but as for XRP, it is showing some momentum over here. And let's go ahead and switch these back to white. Let's do green. You can see Ripple at 43 cents. We can see Ripple at 52 cents. That's a possibility. Though it does have to continue this rally above that pennant. Right, if it breaks below that last swing low, so a tight stop on this would be a 5% stop. A generous stop would be the 61.8 at 10%. So it just depends on risk, on your risk evaluation, how much risk you're willing to absorb, and how bullish you are in XRP. Fundamentally, there's been some changes to Ripple. There's quite a bit of usage on XRP, so it looks like a decent trade setup. All right, going over Pivx, Strat, and Power. We're getting close to time, so if you guys have more altcoin suggestions, go ahead and drop them in the comment box on YouTube or Facebook, and I'll get to them once I am done with Pivx, Strat, and Power. All right, Pivx. This was one of the top gainers last year in terms of ROI. What's happening here? We saw a big impulse move up. Moving averages on the daily are closing down. I don't like this, right? We did have a trade update on where to move the stop. Let me go ahead and pull that up. This one rang all 5 of our targets. We go to altcoin. So trailing SL is 2085. So it's this one's still going. This was last Friday. And it did hit some more targets. Just getting showing this trade-off. So, you know, T1, T2, 27, T3, 2805. We did see a big impulse move up post my last update. What's going on in terms of the chart? It's technically oversold on stochastic. There is a divergence here. This was our wave 1. Let's check the retracement, see what's going on. Did it break that 61.8 retracement? It looks like it's right at it if I was to eyeball it, and it is, right? So we're seeing this bounce here off that previous resistance zone, which is turning into support. We could definitely see, you want to wait for volume to come in and confirm this. We could definitely see this thing turn around. We do know that a 61.8 retracement is the ideal retracement. If you guys follow my Medium writings, last time I did a market cap overview during the last altcoin rally, I talked about how the market is maturing, where we're seeing 61.8 retracements on several moves before the continuation. But the volatility is still there. And in terms of Pivx generated gains, oh, this is Strat. Fuck. Sorry, guys. The Strat's a 61.8 retracement. Strat's still moving up. Pivx. It did not look like the chart. So Pivx trade is still in session, right? Stop loss is trailed to 2085. We've got an order block here that price is going to retest, right? We saw the first impulse move. We saw the second impulse move. It should be one more. There should be one more, unless this is all part of one wave, which is not likely. We're currently at 38.2. Bounced once here on low volume. We're gonna see 2032, very much likely. So if someone wants to book some profits in here, maybe we signal this one way down at bottom. Yeah, we signal this one at 15 in the 1500 range. So I'd set an alert for the 50. Very much likely we're going to see those price levels for retracement. Personally, I'm still holding my Pivx until my stop gets rung. Going over power. Power is not looking so powerful anymore. We did see some big impulse buys, right? Now we're seeing volume decrease. Moving averages still are to the upside, though they're headed down. ADX is looking decent. We're seeing, let's go ahead and draw some support and resistance lines. So just going off price action. Volume on power today is pretty shy. We're only looking at 6 BTC on Bittrex. Let me check the Binance chart. Could very well see a wedge retest here. Alright, we saw first retest. We could see secondary retest. So I would tighten stops on power and wait for it to show force again and start trading above that 2084 in terms of above our longer term moving average, right? That's when momentum is going to come in and elevate the price up. So I definitely tighten stops. We could definitely see a retest of previous lows. Mana, and I believe that's our last altcoin request. Unless somebody's got one, please type it in the comments now. Moving averages on Mana are still to the downside. I typically like to trade this token every time it breaks the downtrend on a 10% stop or so. Why? Because that has worked every time. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. Sometimes it'll fake us out. This was our top gainer in the bear market. This one made 1,000%. Anytime it does these extended downtrends and it breaks them, so long as moving averages collaborate, it moves up. We haven't quite had a bullish MA cross here, so I think that's what we're going to wait on before we put out a next Mana signal. We had a downtrend break and then a move up from the MA. I'm going to highlight the next downtrend break. $102% off one downtrend break, and then we also got another 95% gainer. So Mana's a bit tricky. We're gonna wait for the moving averages to clear on the daily chart before we put out the next long. Even though this is fundamentally one of the hardest tokens to devalue, because it is tied to digital real estate, and we're seeing a big wedge set up. We do know that Mana's got some pretty big fundamental backers, like real traditional banks are backing this project. So we shouldn't see a much more devaluation here. But once again, moving averages are to the downside. Trade has stopped out. I'm going to wait till the MA cross before signaling it again. And I believe that's it. Thank you all for joining. This is an awesome power hour. Had a lot of altcoin requests. Check us out at coinobservatory.com. Check out our review on smart options. Once again, we're still ranked the #1 trading community on Discord. We're very active. I think we had like 3 or 4 signals go out today. We've got margin channels for every token on BitMEX except for Litecoin. And we try to keep them always updated. And if you're not in our Discord, click the join Discord link in our Facebook video description. If you want to check us out further,